afternoon and welcome to the Midday News here on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. I am Bhavita Gopalchan. Thank you so much for joining us. Top of the news at this time. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles is today condemning Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar for what she says are reckless and disgraceful comments. In a Facebook post, Beckles said the comments by the Prime Minister that the United States should kill violently drug smugglers is inconsistent with the oath she took to uphold the Constitution and the law. She adds that given the insufficient varying and contrasting details provided to the regional public, Persad-Bissessar should give some clarity on the location of the vessel when it was struck by the U.S. military, as well as additional clarity on any coordination with the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. She went on to dismiss the notion that any criticism against the Prime Minister's statement should be viewed as supporting drug trafficking, saying that the opposition supports strong and decisive action against drug trafficking. And Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara has thanked the United States military for carrying out a strike on a vessel in the Southern Caribbean suspected of transporting narcotics. He said he does not pity the 11 people who died on the vessel or anyone running afoul of the law. Now, yesterday's attack was described by the United States as a kinetic strike carried out on international waters against a vessel allegedly operated by the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. U.S. President Donald Trump stated that 11 people he described as narco-terrorists were killed. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar backed the U.S. strike, saying she and most of the country welcomed the attack, noting that illicit drugs and arms brought death and destruction to Trinidad and Tobago for the past 25 years. Guevara is now following suit as he too is supporting the move.
Because when the U.S. Armada comes calling, I wish you luck in treating with what will not be a happy ending. I have absolutely no pity on anyone caught in that net, be it carried or criminal.
Guevara says the move by the U.S. will serve as a warning.
I am grateful for the decisive U.S. intervention. The resources deployed will undoubtedly place a significant dent in narcotics trafficking across the Southern Caribbean. Let this serve as a clear warning to our fishers of fortune who board their pirogues chasing perilous tides of profit.
Well, in a statement yesterday, Venezuelan Communications Minister Freddy Ñañez questioned the authenticity of a video depicting the attack, suggesting it may have been created using artificial intelligence, calling it almost cartoonish animation. Well, founding member of the People's National Movement, Freddy Ferreira, says the U.S. claims that warships have been sent to the region because of an influx of drugs to the U.S. is ludicrous and highly questionable, at least. Speaking on the Morning Brew today, Ferreira said that warships are not meant to target drug cartels.
You didn't send 7 to dig for the greatest drug dealer in the world, Pablo Escobar. It's 7 battleships that you send in the Caribbean under the pretext that you're going for drug dealers. You need 7 battleships to intercept a vessel with 11 people that you assume have drugs. So this has to be nothing short of irrevocable stupidity.
He adds that Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar is acting outside of the parameters of CARICOM as it concerns U.S. involvement in the affairs of Venezuela. Ferreira says he is against the history of our own diplomacy and foreign policy, that the Prime Minister is committed to providing the United States unflinching access to TNT if the U.S. requests it. Well, Ferreira says Trinidad and Tobago's position has always been and should be neutral.
That whatever differences we have, it is documented. Trinidad soil will never be used for any attempt by any foreign power to invade Venezuela. That is documented. So that has been our policy. Unfortunately, whatever are the reasons, the Prime Minister has made to me what I consider to be a highly questionable commitment.
He says the claims are highly questionable. A minister in the Ministry of Housing, Philip Alexander, is echoing the sentiments of his leader, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, regarding the killing of 11 people purported to be drug smugglers. In a social media post, Alexander is the first person to support the Prime Minister's statement to kill drug smugglers. Persad-Bissessar said drug cartels fuel the murders of citizens and the U.S. should kill all drug smugglers violently. The U.S. has warships in the southern Caribbean near Venezuela to, according to them, combat drug cartels. Now, Alexander said he is a supporter of due process, but agreed to yesterday's killing, saying the drug war does not just evade due process, but corrupts it. He says while he understands the outrage of some, but wars have casualties, adding that the country owes the United States a debt of gratitude. He says the Prime Minister took a tough stance, one that was needed after the opposition facilitated drug trafficking, an unsupported claim as he failed to present any facts. Meanwhile, 4 alleged gang leaders are among 8 men sanctioned by a Homeland Security Minister to be detained under the state of emergency regulations. The alleged gang leaders, including Mylan Hines, Malik Nero, Jeremy O'Brien and Kenrick Singh, all 8 allegedly linked to the Resistance Gang, Muslim Gang and other organized crime groups. The men are alleged to have access to guns and drugs and were plotting on carrying out various criminal activities, including smuggling drugs and guns, as well as kidnappings and murders. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488, 701-6680, 728-6786, or visit our website to order.
Every day at the castle, long before we open our doors, our work begins. Our famous seasonings are mixed in advance. We select our fresh chicken parts and prep our delicious sides. Then we fire up the fryers and rotisserie oven. Everything is made with tasty local herbs, spices, and the same long-loved recipe since 1968. So, when you come in, remember that we uphold our culture and our taste. Just for you. We are your Royal Castle.
You can tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
Welcome back in sport. Trinbago Knight Riders all-rounder Nathan Edwards is relishing his time with the franchise. The 20-year-old from St. Martin took 3 wickets as TKR overcame a 96-run opening stand by the Patriots, eventually restricting the visiting team to 167 in pursuit of 180. The left-arm bowler told journalists after the game that he has especially benefited from his mentor Dwayne Bravo's guidance.
It's a great feeling coming from my experienced team, and I'm a youngster coming up learning from the players, so it's a great feeling. Even if he was in the court, I still feel he will play a big part in this team. He has a lot of experience, and he's been foreign and experienced down to me, so I've been learning from him.
Now, the Knight Riders will play their final home match today against the Kings before heading to Barbados and Guyana to close off the tournament. Best of luck to them. That's it for sport. It's back to a break.
Listen, haven't you heard?
Marriage Westside Supermarket is having
an extravagant sale.
That's extravagant news.
Visit us at Maharaj Supermarket, located at the corner of King and Lupin Street, Sarima, and also Jumbo Foods, situated at 119 to 121 Eastern Mayor Tower, and save big.
You can tell from the crowd who's up next. It's Trinray's star player, whose world-class stats put him in a league of his own. Trinray's risen to become a true force to be reckoned with. With an unbeaten Carry A rating, they boast a strong solvency and A-class service. Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing Trinray's financial and technical strength at its best.
Trinray, premier insurance coverage for less.
लड़की यहीं रहेगी।
Don't miss Uttaran, CNC3's Indian soap. Weekdays at 5:30 p.m. Repeats weekdays at 12:15 p.m. And marathon Sundays at 11 a.m. Only on CNC3.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Nearly 2.1 million Jamaicans head to the polls today in an historic general election, with the ruling Jamaica Labour Party seeking a third consecutive term against the opposition People's National Party. While 4 parties and several independents are in the race, the contest is expected to be a straight fight between the JLP and PNP for control of the 63-seat parliament. Polls suggest a much tighter race than in 2020, when the JLP secured 49 seats. Voting runs from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., with results expected a few hours later under the watch of regional as well as international observers. China's Xi Jinping, Russia's Vladimir Putin, and North Korea's Kim Jong-un appeared together at a military parade in Beijing marking the end of World War II. The parade showcased China's growing military power with thousands of troops as well as advanced weapons. Neither United States President Donald Trump nor American forces took part in the event, while Trump later accused China, Russia, and North Korea of working against the U.S. Meanwhile, President Putin said he's open to meeting Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky, though doubts remain over whether such talks will happen. And the U.S. president is pushing forward with his plan to provide a federal force in Chicago. Now, this decision comes despite the opposition of city, county, and state leaders. CNN has more.
It's official.
Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation.
After days of speculation, the Trump administration confirms its plan to send armed military personnel to the Windy City.
Chicago is a hellhole right now.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says the land of Lincoln will go to court to fight against the deployment.
The President of the United States likes to go on television and beg me to call and ask him for troops. I find this extraordinarily strange, as Chicago does not want troops on our streets.
At least 58 people were shot in Chicago this Labor Day weekend, according to the city's police department.
Here's the truth. Donald Trump is the last person in America who cares about families on the south and west side of Chicago.
The Chicago Mayor's Office of Violence Reduction says shootings, including fatalities, are on a downward trend thus far this year.
They believe it's acceptable to go from an unacceptable level of crime to an unacceptable level of crime and call that a win.
As for Chicago residents,
sending a National Guard, I believe that it will put us in a situation where the whole city of Chicago will be right back where we started.
It's now time for the weather forecast with Sharma Grambasad.
We had some partly cloudy periods over both islands for the morning so far, with a few showers, some becoming heavy at times over eastern and extreme southern areas of Trinidad. With the passage of the tropical wave today, we can expect scattered showers, with the afternoon thunderstorms again favoring western coastal areas of Trinidad. Conditions are expected to settle by this evening, but with 1 or 2 lingering showers, so hopefully no interruptions to the cricket. Looking further ahead, there is another tropical wave in the eastern Atlantic, which the National Hurricane Center has given a 70% chance of development sometime this week. We'll be monitoring this disturbance closely as it nears the island chain.
Thank you, Sharmak, and thank you for joining us for a look at the day's developments so far. We'll have these stories and so much more coming up for you in a Midday Newscast at 7 p.m. today. Until then, have a great day.